Hello, everybody. Welcome into Scores, Goals, Touchdowns with Mr. Pat. Back with us again, we have Arnold wearing his foosball t-shirt.
Yes. Foosball.
Yes, rocking the foosball. And back with us again, we have Derek after taking a week off.
Yes.
Welcome back, fellas. All right, we're going to start off thing that's kind of the saddest news of the week. UT standout senior Nama Shafir went down with an ACL injury. Her season, she's done. And you work with the team. You're the play-by-play guy. You do
Practice team.
Yeah, you practice with the team. Tell me, how big a blow is this to UT?
It's a big blow. It's an identity crisis for the women's team because now girls have to be in a new role now.
Mm-hmm.
And Dola Dorch, one of the guards, has been playing really well. Is going to have to step up. And Courtney Ingersoll is going to have to step up too. She's now playing multiple roles. She'll be either playing the point or the 2 or the 3. So. It's for Trisha Cullop, it's going to be a lot of coaching this year.
Oh, yeah.
And with Nama gone, if you realize this, the team is very young. I mean, there's only going to be now one senior on the team, and the rest are juniors and sophomores. So that's what's going to be happening. Now it makes the MAC race a little bit closer. I think UT was pretty much the odds in favor to go on and win the regular season and tournament. Now it looks like they might not even win the West because Eastern Michigan is really good. And then I've been watching BG on BCSN, and I don't know. It might be kind of tough for UT to win the MAC this year.
Arnold?
It's such a tragedy. I mean, such a talented player. She was the face of the team last year when they went on that huge run. And her backstory, too. I mean, being an Orthodox Jew from Israel, the UT was the only school that would accommodate her religious means. And to have her career end like this, it's horrible.
Yeah. Now, you're close with the team. Do you think there's any chance she might take a medical red shirt, or is she...
Yeah, my honest opinion, I think she might leave. And the only reason why I say that is because she's far from home.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only reason why she really stays in Toledo is because of basketball. And it's not really much to prove.
No.
And she does get kind of disappointed. Like, she'll have family fly in usually once a month or so to see her and, keep her, cheer her up. But, I mean, there's nothing really to do. She wants to go back to Israel. And usually when the school year is over, she flies right back to Israel to hang out with her family. So right now, I would say no. I mean, she'll try to do the rehab and stuff and then just go back to Israel to be with her family because she already will get her degree in the spring.
Yeah. All right. We're going to move on past that from college basketball. We're going to go into college football. We had the championship games for the conferences this past weekend, and then the bowls have been coming out. We've been getting different updates on who's going where.
Yeah.
Arnold, you being the Michigan fan, tell us your thoughts.
Michigan, who would have thought at the beginning of the year, BCS bound. It's not official, but by the way things have been shaking down with other bowls, it looks like Michigan's going to New Orleans, Sugar Bowl. Don't know the opponent yet. Could be Virginia Tech, could be Kansas State, could be Baylor. Could be West Virginia, who knows there. But, Brady Hoke, should be in contention for National Coach of the Year after what the train wreck that was the Rodriguez era. And then Brady Hoke, being the knight in shining armor, for lack of a better term, turning that whole thing around. I mean, it's really impressive. I'm ecstatic for what things to come there.
Really quick, let me ask you, out of all those teams you mentioned, which would be your favorite to watch?
Baylor, by far.
Baylor?
Robert Griffin III, my Heisman Trophy pick. He won't win it, but to see Denard and him go back and forth, it'd be a phenomenal matchup. And Baylor's a program too. I mean, they've been on the skids forever, and to see them be this successful is really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. All right, now Derek, a few weeks ago when we did the Ohio State-Michigan game, you represented Ohio State's side. It came down, they're going to play Florida, rematch the 2006 National Championship in the Gator Bowl. It's really interesting. Look at that.
Yes, I'm a Gator fan, so I did represent Ohio State, but yeah, I'm a Gator fan. So you know who I want to win.
Okay, I did not know that about you.
Yes, I'm a Gator fan.
Okay. Kind of interesting. Both teams are 6-6. I mean, a few years ago, wasn't the Gator Bowl actually kind of prestigious?
Money. Not to interrupt you, but it's all about money.
Yeah.
College football is rigged. People think the NBA is rigged. This is the most rigged sport.
Yeah, you look at Alabama, a team that can't even win their conference division, not even win their own conference. They had their chance to beat LSU, and they failed, and yet they're going to play for the national championship. It's a freaking joke.
Yeah, I'll get into that more later when the Pat's piece. Personally, for me, it should be Oklahoma State University that's playing LSU. Yeah, like I said, we'll get into more of that later. What do you think give me your thoughts on that matchup, Ohio State, Florida?
Well, I think there'll be a lot of intrigue with the whole Urban Meyer thing going on in Columbus. Both teams, obviously, their name alone will attract a large crowd.
Oh, yeah, both travel really well.
That's when the game's in Jacksonville, too, so you know there'll be a large contingent of Florida Gator fans there. Both disappointing years. I think the extra practice will help Ohio State more. Honestly, I think the Buckeyes will win that game.
No, Florida will probably win that game. The Big Ten is horrible.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to comment on the Michigan. Whoever they play in the BCS game, it's going to probably be a horror story for them. I'm sorry. It's going to probably be a Mississippi State type of game, especially if they play Griffin III against Baylor. It won't be no back and forth with Denard Robinson. Baylor, did you watch Baylor yesterday?
They looked impressive. They looked impressive.
I'm sorry. The Big Ten is horrible. It's terrible. I mean,
I think Wisconsin will give Oregon a game in the Rose Bowl.
No, that's going to be like UCLA Deuce. I mean, Wisconsin's decent, but I don't see it.
I really don't think Wisconsin's all that great. They play really well at home,
Yeah.
but I mean, they struggled twice with Sparty, who Notre Dame mopped the floor with.
How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, that still puzzles me to this day.
Big Ten is horrible.
Yeah.
It's a down year for the Big Ten. Let's just face it. Every
is a
conference
down
gets
year,
it.
Big Ten's been down for a while, though. Occasionally you have one good team, but Wisconsin last year losing to TCU.
Well, that TCU team.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're
awfully
good.
Yes, but there's a
They're not
certain,
sisters of the poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a certain stigma. Oh, thank you, Gordon Gee.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
there's a certain stigma that comes with losing to those small schools with the BCS. Nobody wants to do it. So it is the Big
But Ohio
Ten.
State last year did, well, I don't know if it actually happened or not, but they did beat Arkansas on the field with half ineligible players.
Maybe. Notre Dame, it hasn't come out who they're playing yet. I know everybody is waiting with bated breath, especially you.
Oh, yeah, bated breath.
Most likely they're going to end up playing Florida State, which, I don't know, should be good for them. It'll give a good barometer of where this program's going, as long as Tommy Rees has found his place on the bench and Andrew Hendricks is now the starting quarterback. But that's about it. Anything else you guys want to mention or want to say about it?
If Notre Dame plays Florida State, Notre Dame will will be completely wiped out. Florida State will mop the floor with them.
Oh, yeah, they're really good offense, too. I don't know. I don't think
The speed of the skill positions that Notre Dame's never had.
Are you serious? You think Golden Tate couldn't play at Florida State? You don't think Michael Floyd would be fine at Florida State?
He'd be fine there, but that's one player. They don't have the hosses. Golden Tate's not there now.
What are you talking about? Okay.
They don't have the speed at the skill position more than just wide receiver. The corners,
All right.
the defensive
Okay.
backs.
First off,
They have the size. They have the
Everybody
smarts.
everybody brings up Notre Dame doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the athletes. If you follow recruiting of them, you could say the recruits aren't that good. I don't buy into stars, rivals, scouts, whatever. The big thing that I look at is who else recruits these guys. I mean, Notre Dame is plucking guys that Ohio State's looking at, Florida, Ohio, USC, all these guys.
That
They're
hasn't
good players.
translated into sustained
I
success.
definitely agree with you. I think Notre Dame's problem isn't the players, because they have good players. Their problem is their coaches aren't developing these players. Like you get a guy like Ryan Grant, who was one good year at Notre Dame and then terrible the rest. And look at him, he's a starter for the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
That's okay. Me getting off my soapbox. That's one of my pet peeves.
I think Florida State will win, but it'll be a closer game than whoever Michigan plays. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Well,
I
a
see
lot
them getting
depends.
steamrolled.
Michigan should play Boise of all teams, but they're not even going to be considered because
That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I know.
Boise's
The whole
a
BCS
very
is a
good
whole. You can make 10 shows all
Yeah,
about
I
the
agree.
travesty of the BCS.
And it'd just be me complaining the whole time.
Yeah, well, no, it'd be everyone complaining.
Complaining.
Is there anybody out there, honestly, that wants to see LSU and Alabama other than like the whole collection of clowns down in the Southeast?
I will say this, though. I do think it's a travesty because when Michigan and Ohio State played 1 versus 2, everyone cried and said, oh, sorry, you got your chance, Michigan. You don't get a rematch. You know, Alabama had their chance, but now this time it's like, okay, we're going to do the rematch.
Yeah.
A key note, though, is that the BCS was founded by the guy who made the SEC tournament. The SEC
really?
championship,
Yeah.
yes.
Not only that,
ESPNU.
too, and they feel apologetic to the SEC after that 1 year when Auburn was left out
Yeah.
after going 12-0.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to transition past college football, get in the NFL. The number one thing I want to talk about, this is my favorite story each week.
It riles him up.
I know where you're going. You're going football Jesus, right?
Yeah, Tim Tebow. If you get him in the fourth quarter, down a possession, you know Denver's going to win.
Yeah. He doesn't. he's a football player first, then a quarterback. But all he does, it's like Chris Carter. All he does is catch touchdown passes. All Tim Tebow does is win football games.
Yep.
It's inexplicable how it happens. I mean, it's got a collection of a whole bunch of things that have to go wrong in the opposing team's favor, but that happens every single time. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings have a decent enough defense with Jared Allen, but Tebow just drove down the field and winning field goal was over. How does it happen?
And they're not watching the Detroit film because, I mean, Detroit just decimated him. But somehow, some way, he's winning.
Well, to be fair, Detroit has one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. They have Sue, Vanden Bosch, Averill.
Exactly.
And Stompik Sue.
Yeah.
To get that in there.
But even on ESPN, they show all his flaws. I mean, the cornerbacks aren't even really respected, and they're blitzing him 15 yards away. So and he's not very accurate. I don't know how if he was playing for the Browns, would he get wins if he replaced Colt McCoy? Because a lot of the Browns fans are not happy with Colt McCoy, and he's a better quarterback than Tebow.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's winning. I don't know.
I don't think it's Denver. They're in first place in the AFC West right now. I don't think Tebow's going to be able to sustain the workload that they're putting on him, carrying the ball 20 times a game, on top of throwing it, 5 times a game or whatever it is.
Well, he is a big boy, though. He would be a
yeah.
tailback or a receiver.
He's a fullback playing quarterback.
Exactly.
But it's still, it's going to wear you down over the course of a full season. And eventually it's going to come back and it's going to haunt him. And some team is going to, they play New England, I think, in a couple of weeks. They don't have a great defense, but they have a very well-coached defense.
That is interesting. You bring up how long can he keep this up?
Yeah.
But you can't really look at it like that because, it's true. He can't. A guy who, with his talent and his skills, you can't see him being an all-star quarterback for the future. But it's just fun to watch to see where this ride is going. Because no matter how bad he plays, he owns the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The last drive, there's no stopping him.
Yeah.
He's just a very fun guy to watch.
Would you want a quarterback like that, though? I'd rather have a fourth quarter quarterback than a guy that plays 3 quarters and then disappears in the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a wonderful asset to have on your team, but I don't know if sustained over the course of a 16-game season, you'd want him, under center.
But he's got Christ on his side, so he'll probably survive. He'll survive.
Football Jesus.
Okay, we're going to move on past that. We'll mention that the 49ers have now wrapped up the division.
First team to clinch.
Oh, yeah. For the first time since 2002. Finally excited. I just mentioned throwing that out there. Arnold, your Bengals didn't look too good today.
They were exposed. They're young. Andy Dalton is the answer at quarterback. I didn't think he would be, but they're a year or two away. And Pittsburgh, going on the road to play in Pittsburgh is never easy.
He turned them into a Bengal rug. They just got scalped.
They did,
Okay, we want to...
They're still, with everything else that's going on, though, the Bengals is not out of it by any means.
Oh, yeah.
They're still better than the Browns.
Oh, that's not saying much.
It's saying a lot, though.
We got about a little less than a minute. Give me your best teams for this week.
You said it earlier. Green Bay is obvious, but I'd say San Francisco. Bouncing back after the loss a couple weeks ago to Baltimore.
On Thanksgiving,
that was a hard-fought loss. It's a moral victory as close as you can get, and flying across the country on a short week. San Francisco's legit, and their defense is scary good. Patrick Willis is the best linebacker in the league.
Oh, yeah.
By far, in my opinion. Alex Smith is a great manager. He's not the best quarterback. He's no Tim Tebow. But
No.
I think San Francisco will be in the NFC Championship game this year.
Really?
And they're built to contend with Green Bay. I don't think they can beat them, but they can hang with them.
There?
2 teams. San Francisco, obviously. And the Colts. They lost by 7 points to New England. Even though they're 0-12, people thought they were going to get mopped on. They actually made it look like a game.
The highlight of their season is being, covering the spread in that game.
Well, you got to remember with the flex schedule, this was supposed to be, I believe, the Sunday night game, and they got bumped because obviously they stink. But they made it, look good this year.
And they put Detroit in prime time for the first time ever.
All right, fellas, thanks for your time. We're going to take a quick break and come back and do Pat's piece. See you in a bit. Every game counts. That's the Twitter handle for the BCS. Yes, every game does count, unless, of course, you play in the SEC. Because it's official, for our national championship, we have the rematch of the 9-6 barn burner between LSU and Alabama. Awesome. We get a rematch of the most boring game all year. Yes, Alabama, a team that is playing for the national championship, didn't even get to play in their conference championship. Who do I think should be playing LSU? The answer is obviously Oklahoma State. While Alabama was resting up, OSU was busy pounding number 10 Oklahoma into submission. On top of that, OSU has the 10th ranked schedule compared to 38th for Bama, and have more wins against ranked teams. The funny thing is, while all these teams were fighting for their conference championships, Alabama got essentially a bye into the national championship. Yeah, every game counts. Thanks for watching Scores, Goals, and Touchdowns, Mr. Pat. See you next time.
I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be